I'm going to call the meeting to order. I will do roll call. Councillor Chair. Councillor Ross. Here. Councillor Manzer. Deputy. I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. Deputy Gordon Ross. Taylor Robinson, our executive assistant. Our director of finance. For Lee Ross. Our CAO. Tyler Foley, and myself, Linda Gregory Gordon. On saying that, I'd ask us to pause to seek guidance. And Joan, you will do the mission statement, please.
I'll certainly do that. Our mission is to provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community needs while preserving, supporting, and enhancing quality of life for all.
Thank you. Now, is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, would someone like to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next, we have a presentation from Paul Lombard, Transport Declare. Would we have a mover to have him come forward?
I motion that Paul Lombard from Transport Declare present to us tonight.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. Paul, come up, and if your light isn't on, just push that little button in the middle.
Check.
All right.
Here. Green button?
Green button,
Okay.
red light shows.
So like the thing, yeah, my name is Paul Lombard. I'm the general manager for Transport Declare. And I would like to thank you for inviting me to say a little piece about it. I would also like to really thank Council, Gordon, and Municipality of DIgby for the continued funding that we received for the Transport Declare. I'm going to give you just a quick update about Transport Declare. I don't know, I know a couple of new faces. And Transport Declare began in 1996 with a vision by a Clarendon Robichon in a wheelchair that had his own van that was wheelchair fit. And he noticed that there were some people that needed it. So he started with $4,000 to use van and 2 volunteer drivers. 1996. Today, Transport Declare has 10 drivers, 4 persons that use their own vehicle that we pay mileage to. They're volunteer drivers that don't get paid by the hour. We have a fleet of 4 buses, 3 full-size vans, 2 minivans, a Ford Escape, 2 electric cars that we were able to finance through get through the a program that the Ottawa federal government had. And so we've grown from that, and all this began in DIgby County, and we should be proud of DIgby County to having something like this started in 1996, because as of today, there are 23 others like us across the province that copied the model, and it went on and on. So there's now 23 across the province, and all started here in DIgby County. So, our mandate is to supply affordable, safe transportation to all residents of DIgby County. So for your funding, I'd like to just point out a few things. I know everybody, every person likes to find out where your money goes. We receive $17,500 from the province just for fare assistance program. In the DIgby region, I keep it separate between Clare and DIgby to make sure that I can verify all of these things. So we subsidize for 2024-2025, which our year starts in 1st of April and ends in 31st of March, I'm sorry. And we subsidized $27,885. So we can take about, let's say, 9,000. So that leaves us in the $16,000 range that we subsidize. I also make sure that the drivers, when they're in this area, that they gas up at either DSO or the Irving. We use Coastal and Seabrook Marine for repairs on our vehicles. We use them. All windshields, which we've replaced a few, are done here in DIgby. So yeah, it's quite a game. So from April 1st to March 31st of our year, or just our year end, we've logged in 660,000, a little over 660,000 kilometers. So, for gas in the region is probably between 25 and 27,000 that's spent in DIgby. So, just to keep that clear. It's a great organization, and I've seen more and more how much it's really needed. I have one that calls Saturday. I'm on call 24/7, 7 days a week. So, just to give you an idea of the kind of some people, she lives on GST and the child monthly thing for 2 kids. That's what she lives on. We need to go to Halifax. Not a problem, we'll get there. We don't refuse anybody. Okay, I've refused two. I've been there 6 years, I've refused two. Something to do with violence. But any of that, we do not refuse anybody. The only time we do refuse is if we're booked up tight and can't do the trip. So it's a good thing to have.
So you mean you can't do the trip, meaning there's no drivers?
Meaning that we're booked up tight.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I
when we're
just
booked
wanted
up.
to make sure.
Yeah. Well, we try to facilitate all we can, make it happen. So if you have any questions.
Well, my question, I'm gonna start off first, is I've had people tell me that they cannot get to Halifax for the amount they're charging, the cost.
Pardon?
The cost of going to Halifax.
The cost is regulated by the province, and it's $450 to go to Halifax.
Yeah.
But we have, like in that 27,000 in just DIgby area alone, not Clare.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of trips that we've been to Halifax for $50, $100, $150.
So when people come to me and tell me that they're supposed, they can't go because they can't afford the $400 or $300, and that's what they've been told by Transport to Clare.
Yeah, Charles will always say that. She'll say it, and people will say automatically that's a lot of money. Yes, it is. Our cost is over $300 to do that trip. Mm-hmm. And but she will always say, okay, what can you afford that will not break you? And that's the same thing I use if they call me. What can you afford that will not create hardship? Mm-hmm. It's $50, okay. It's $100, okay. Well,
this lady was saying to me that she had even been to social services, and they would only give her $125.
Yeah.
And
community services. A couple of years, I was subsidizing a lot of their clients too. Mm-hmm. So we had a little chat, and I found out that yes, if they do apply for more funding, they can get it to cover a trip. But as a rule, their max is $150 per month. That's their max up bill. Yeah. That's what they tell you. I was able to, between all 23 of us, we talked to our community service representatives and stuff. But no, if somebody, I know some people will say things, but we will, whatever you can afford without creating hardship. Okay. That's our rule. That's been right across. And that's
all right, as long as I know that, I have no problem if someone says that.
Yeah.
And then if they have still a problem, they can come back and I don't have a problem asking.
I've got one going Wednesday, well, tomorrow's Wednesday, tomorrow, for $50. That's also cool. I know her. And whether I know her or not, when I ask her situation, that's fine. We do that. What we've done across all 23 of us is come up with a new plan for this year.
Okay.
We had it a little bit, but it wasn't really enforced. So what it is if you want us to help you, I need to see your tax for the last year.
Mhm.
And just came across, well, I can afford $100, but I'm making 60-some-odd thousand a year. Oh yeah, people will play you every
Okay.
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that does make sense to me.
Yeah, so
Well, you just asked for the, what's that thing we asked for?
No, it's assessment.
Yeah, the assessment thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to go. I've worked, and so was Charlotte that I told her for years now. They'll tell you what. Not always. we worked a lot on the trust system, and we still do, but we need to know. Can't have somebody taking advantage, and it's getting a little more and more. So therefore, this is the route we're taking. If you're making $25,000-$30,000, if you're half decent shape, yeah, we'll still work with you. That's one thing we say. We'll work with you. What can you afford without creating hardship?
What percentage of people are able to pay the $450? How many do?
A few, very little, and that's why we've subsidized actually over $54,000, and we get $17,500 from the province into this program. But that's what our charter is. We have charter license and all that stuff. So working with the schools and that, they charter us out. So that's where we make our money to help cover. Because all these medical trips and stuff like that, they're non-paying. And it shouldn't be. That's what we're there for, to help. We take people to go shopping for $20. It's 2 hours, basically. And we pay $19 an hour, so our cost is a little over $20 per hour. We probably do it for $20 to this day. So.
How many trips a month would you make? A week?
Halifax? When I started 6 years ago, it was 1 or 2 a month. It's every week. We have
1, 2,
3 go today. We've got 1 coming back Thursday. It's at least, well, lately it's been at least twice a week.
What's the capacity for the vehicle you're using now?
I'm sorry.
What's the capacity of the vehicle that you're currently using?
The vehicles that we have?
Yeah.
Our 17 bus is 22 passengers or 2 wheelchairs and less passengers. Of course, I'm going to give you the full passenger, but not the wheelchairs. Our 17 is 22 passengers or 2 wheelchairs. Our 18 bus that we have is 18 passengers, 4 wheelchairs. Our 19 bus is 20 passengers, 3 wheelchairs. And our 2024 bus is 18 passengers or 4 wheelchairs. Our full-size vans are 7 passengers, or they can also put 2 wheelchairs. Dodge Caravan is 1 wheelchair, 4 passengers. Our 217 is just a regular caravan wheelchair. Yeah, all 3 vans are the same. And then we have the Ford Escape, which it's a hybrid. So we've been using that a lot to go to Halifax. It's a 2021, so 160-some-odd thousand trips on it. And it's makes it more affordable. And then we have and then we have a new Toyota Sienna hybrid, that van that handles 8 passengers. And that's to replace the 17 Caravan because it's got 378,000 kilometers.
And how often do you roll sorts of different vehicles of different sizes when you go say to Halifax? What is the most common vehicle that you usually ever manage to fuel one of the largest capacity vehicles?
For the largest capacity one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the largest capacity is probably, I would say, our 2018 bus. They're all Fords. They're all gas powered. But I find we keep track of every kilometer and every liter of gas, everything, and we always, how many. Probably the 18 passengers.
How often are you making trips where it's 20 people or near capacity?
We do a fair amount with the schools, and we do work with DIgby also, and also the Village again, the Village of the Bay, and so yeah, both with Tri-County School Board and the CSAP.
Will the price per person change depending on the volume of people you're transporting in a given trip?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit.
So let's say you're taking one person and 20 in a bus that can take 20, or you're taking 20 people in the same bus.
Yeah.
Does it take it per person change price, or it's always the same?
That becomes a charter, and what we do with a charter. It's 75 for now, and it's going to be going up in July. But now it's still the same price we had 10 years ago. It's $75 an hour while the bus is going, including the cost of the driver. And when the bus is stopped, it's $20 an hour for the driver for late time. It'll be going up to 95.
Joan, do you have any questions? Malcolm? No? Do you have any more, Peter?
Just to give you a quick cost on vehicles, like I just upgraded a fair amount there last year and a half because of a program RTSF that they had, which is rural transportation. Federal was paying 80%, province was paying 20 or whatever, and we paid the tax. But our bus last year, 2024, 18 passenger, 4 wheelchair, was $178,000, and we had to go pick it up in Montreal. That was the best price we had. That's the 2024. The 19 bus, 20 passenger, 3 wheelchairs was $114,000 total delivered. And I'm understanding that the next buses are going to be a little over 200. So, as far as vans are 150.
What's the area that you cover? What is the area that you cover?
We cover? Our charter license is anywhere from Halifax Airport, down the South Shore, down the Yarmouth, all on the Southwest Nova and the South Shore. And our smaller vehicles can go pick up anywhere because it's a CD license, a different kind of license. We can pick up anywhere and go anywhere for anybody in the province. But because of 23 of us, we have each own county. So we don't go, like, we'll go from DIgby County to Yarmouth, because it's a resident DIgby County. So we'll go down to Yarmouth, bring them there, or even if they're in the hospital, we will go get them to Yarmouth and bring them here. Hope Dollar Run is the one that runs there. So, but sometimes Hope Dollar Run is busy, so they'll call us and we'll do that. And I've done the same with them, or Trans County in Annapolis. We have a tendency to work together for stuff.
So if there is someone saying Barrie where you would pick up the person to Yarmouth, for example?
Yeah.
And is it the same price that you would charge for someone from say Clare?
On individual, from DIgby to Yarmouth? Yeah, from let's say DIgby to there would be it's around $130. We'll stay 2 hours. Right. A lot of times we're there 4 hours waiting for treatments or infusions. We don't charge more. I mean, it happens, right? And from Clare would be like between $60 and $75.
Right. So this is really transport on demand. You don't have lines that run periodically. It's all
pre-booked. This is all pre-booked, and like there's sometimes a lot of last minute calls, but it's all usually pre-booked. And like the schedule. This is. But our schedules are busy. It's pre-booked, and we work also with Inclusion Clare, the workshop. So we travel some from Ashmore and to Inclusion Clare and Clare. So we do that run every morning and afternoon.
With the experience that you have accumulated so far with people going back and forth in the typical the trips that people make here and there, do you think there's opportunity for scheduled trips, like regular bus lines in any?
I've been looking in that. It was mentioned before, and right now, Claire has asked me to look into that. And it was to connect with, let's say, King's Transit in Weymouth. But I saw that there's going to be some changes or something coming up. So, I'm working out some numbers, and it's expensive. And for the return that there is back, I'm not sure. Is Transport Claire the unit that should be operating that? I'd love to, but there's a big but. So let's say people to these transits are used to paying $4 or $5. So if, let's say I have to go in concession, because you'd stay on the number one highway, right? Go to concession to get somebody to bring them there, then go back and get them when they go from Yarmouth. I can hear it. I had to pay $20 to go there and back, and then I paid $5 to go to Yarmouth. It's, see what I'm saying? It could create a lot of. Yeah. I still have people that have called me to complain that it was $20 to go shopping. Pick them up, go to the medical center, stop and get their pills, and then take them back home. Like, they still think it's ridiculous, the price. Yeah. So it's all over the map, this business, and that's fine. I love what I do, and the clients, they're all great.
I'll be upfront. I'm glad you're telling me, because I have been hearing that they're working getting discounts
There's
for
what?
the Halifax trips.
Oh yeah.
They were saying they couldn't afford the best that you could do for $300. They just couldn't afford it.
Yeah. The one trip that it's flat, and this is from Meadow. But to go to the airport, it's the flat rate. It's not medical. It's just.
Yeah.
And I will suggest to them every time, you can call. I give them the number for TriStar charters, because they go to the Halifax airport about every day, as far as I know. And you're talking $120 one way. But it's different things. But no, we work with.
And that's what I'm pleased to hear. That's what I didn't hear about. I mean,
Anywhere, Kenville. We'll say from here to Kenville, let's say, I'm not exactly sure, I'm pretty close. $130. Well, if you could afford 50 or 25, we'll get you there. It's from Digby Air. We have Digby residents that pay $50 to go. Yeah, I just saw it. $50 to go to Yarmouth. Like we're not there to make money, but we have to. It has to be operated somewhat as a business.
oh yeah, you can't go on the whole.
But no, it's Gordon Gregory. It's yeah.
I really appreciate it.
And if there ever is a problem, tell them to call Paul. Call the office.
Well, I told him to call back. And
Yep.
ask more questions.
Yeah.
Well, I assume that, if you run a deficit, there's no municipality or province doesn't top that up. You have to cover your.
I fought for 3 years to get more money for the drivers. We were paying $16. Well, when I started, we were paying 12 something. And I fought for the province 3 years, and we ended up getting more. We were getting 91,000 with a fuel bill that was 76. We got more. So I was able to raise the wages now to $19 for the drivers, and $19 an hour to try to, be nice to pay more of that.
That is fun for a driver.
And one thing that I found that was been really good is retired people. They want to work a couple days a week. You got your license, you got a clear driving record. Yeah, it's been working really good. Because we can't promise 40 hours a week, and that's what a lot of people are looking for. And when you're paying, 15, 16, well, you're up to 19 maybe. But we're getting at a point that I may be able to get there, that I can, okay, you're retired. You only want to work this month. Well, okay, then we're going to get somebody full time, maybe another one. So we've gone from 4.5 people on staff before. We're 2.5. It took me a while to get there, but it's there and it's working fine. I'm gonna have to hire another person to 3/4 time, but I'm still tweaking. And I was gonna retire actually a couple of years ago. This is not die, okay? And but they asked me to stay a little longer. There's a few things I'd like to see Transport Claire, but I'll be done in another year or two. And that's to see it completely upgraded. This is my opinion. Completely upgraded. No more bills. And some money will quick to go forth. I'd like to, I've said it before, but we have Diane Young that's down in Freeport. And she organizes once a month shopping trips. I think the people there, and it's not a charter. That's on a per person basis because it varies. So anyway, they pay $20 per person. We take them shopping DIgby for the day. I'd like to.
It's for the day. And it's for the day.
It's for the day.
Yes.
It's Walmart. It's bring your empty bottles. It's bring. Oh yeah, and I'd like to see that go to twice a month. I don't. I said, oh yeah, we'll get there. I said, yeah, it's just once a month for do your main shopping. Sometimes, that's just my opinion.
You have to do a lot of planning to just shop once a month.
Yes, you do.
I never make it.
Yeah. So
I can't make it once a week.
I looked in my deep freeze and I had to ask Bonnie, I said, how many people live here? Because there's no more room. But anyway, no, it's and there's other little things I'd like to, but I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on this transit thing and maybe come up with some pricing stuff. Just to see. Well, obviously you're aware that it can be expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to tell you that. So,
But owning a vehicle can be expensive, so.
yeah.
That's right.
We got a pretty good rate, just our insurance on the 12 Eagles. So yeah, it's $22,000 a year, which is not bad compared to some others that have put a couple claims in. So anyway, but no, it's something that I believe in 100%.
Well, Ken, thank you so much for coming in for us, and we really appreciate taking time and answering our questions and letting us know what was going on.
Well, I appreciate being invited, and like I said, anytime any of you get them to call the office 769-2333, and if they leave a message, it goes on my cell so I can read it, so I call them back. And also, we appreciate Transport Claire appreciates your funding and what you've been doing. It is greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one. I need everything to do. Alrighty, the next thing we are looking at is the Chief Administrator's report with starting the meeting dates and reminders of April 16th. Oh, I wanted to just skip over them. Is there any errors or omissions in the minutes? And I have one. Under my report, it says FOO, it should be FOOD, for food. It's just that's the only thing I saw. And that's the first time I've seen anything. It was shocking for me. No, shocking that I noticed anything. Did anyone else see any errors or omissions?
No.
Okay, then if someone would approve as amended,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2025 as amended.
is there a
I'll
second? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded, motion for carried. The CAO report, the meeting reminders. On April the 24th, we're going to have a joint meeting at 4:30 p.m. And April 29th, there is no meeting. On May the 6th at 5 p.m. is Public Works. At 6 p.m. is Bylaw and Policy. May the 13th is Committee of the Whole. And that night, our Deputy Warden will be chair. On May 27th is Council at 5 p.m. And on June 10th, Committee of the Whole at 5 p.m. and Bylaw and Policy at 6 p.m. Now, under the capital projects, as you can see, the building capital improvements are complete. The transportation sidewalks 95% complete. The concrete pad engineering 95% complete. The airport paving is complete. Industrial drive, they're waiting for an invoice, so it is complete. Under environmental health wastewater, the lift station electrical cabinet replacement at the Weymouth pumping stations is still in progress. Upgrades at the lift stations is still in progress. Pumping station pump replacements is needed, and the physical needs a replacement pump. Under environmental services rural internet is got complete. So people are still saying they don't have internet. Especially on the net. Is there any action items with previous minutes that anyone wants to bring forward from the CAO report?
Just a question. For the admin building, we came in under budget by 50. Does that money go anywhere, or is it just on paper? Does that go into a reserve, the money we didn't spend, or is that?
It would be added to whatever surplus there would be at the end of the year, so it could be spent on future capital projects.
Okay.
Any other questions?
The upgrades of lift stations at zero, it's in progress. Is that just if something goes wrong, or is there an actual project for that? Or?
I take it you're waiting on.
That one was rolled over to year one for this fiscal.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't get the materials in time, so it's kind of in progress where there's materials ordered, but it is not going to hit this report.
Any other questions? The financial report for March 2025. Anyone have any questions on the financial report? Okay, then could I have someone move the council approve the 2025-2026 funding request as agreed in the minutes?
I'll move the council approve the 2025-2026 funding request as agreed to in the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Okay, under next, we will be going under the spending motion. Is our next thing under bylaw and policy recommendations?
I'll move the council approve 1/4 of the operating budget from the 2024-25 fiscal year in the amount of $3,188,800 $3,188,806 for the purpose of providing spending authority and business continuity for the first quarter of the current fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2025, and until a full operating budget is approved by council.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Any concerns, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the 2025 DIgby Home and Lifestyle Expo.
I move that the council register a booth in the 2025 DIgby Home and Lifestyle Expo that will take place on June 7th and 8th, 2025.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Can I ask, how many are gonna be there working?
Just the councilors.
No, well, I thought there was someone who could make it, like, Matt said he couldn't.
Matt can't, but there'll be us three,
Okay.
4.
I thought it was, I wasn't sure about Peter, but I thought you, Joe, and Linda for sure.
And all of the, array.
Oh, there'll be the 3 of us.
I'll be in the building.
Somewhere,
Taking any questions in?
But,
and about somewhere in the building.
but before that, we will sit down and have a schedule made out for 3 of us. We'll work together on that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Next is the data funding request, US Ed.
I'll move the council provide $2,833.33 to Digby Area Tourism Association for the US Ed.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Is there any concerns or questions? Yes.
Is this the original one we had agreed on, not so well, this isn't over and above?
No, this is the original
This
one.
is the original. Yeah, then I thought they came back and asked us for more. Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Nay. Motion carried. The next is under the Committee of the Whole recommendations, the Digby Harbor Port Association letter of support.
I move the council write a letter of support for the Digby Harbor Port Association's application for the Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund.
Is there a seconder?
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next is the J-Class Roads Notice of Acceptance.
Sustainable Community Challenge Fund.
I'm sorry.
Those two. This one's for Terry.
Yes, the Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund and Low Carbon Program.
Move the council authorize the preparation and submission of an application to the Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund to seek financing for a feed study for a potential community solar garden under the Nova Scotia Community Solar Program and fund the project up to $25,000.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next would be the Low Carbon Communities Program.
I'll move the council authorize the preparation and submission of an application to the Low Carbon Communities Program, seek financing and an engineering study to determine the feasibility of repurposing the plant and fund the project up to 20.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is the motion for sending the EPR letter of concern.
I move the council approve the notice of acceptance for the 2025-26 cost share program for paving and subdivision J-Class streets with the province of Nova Scotia for Pleasant Street, 0.35 kilometers in the amount of $87,500.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next under business items. It starts with the Digby Splash Park. Oh, I thought we Who's that? Okay, the EPR letter of concern, I'm sorry.
I'll move the council write a letter to the Honorable Tim Howland, Minister of Environment and Climate Change, to address concerns with the implementation of the Extended Producer Responsibility Program.
Okay, now is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Now, under business items, first one is the DIgby Splash Park. And, what they were writing for,
If you want me to.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just so, for Peter and Joe's benefit. So when they were fundraising for the splash park in town, they approached us and asked for $30,000 towards the capital costs, which we approved at the time. They ended up coming in under budget, completing all the capital work, including the washroom and everything around it. And they only required around $10,000 from us. So they're looking for the additional 19 that we originally committed. The reason I couldn't simply hand that over was because it's no longer for capital work. So we need to decide whether or not we're going to give the 19, what it would be for, what you guys want to do, and we require a new motion at this point.
But we can't get in capital without knowing it's capital. And
As long as their bills are paid, I mean, it's in the
We-
budget now. Derek,
yeah,
that we paid Splash Park, because Derek took it over, so.
I mean, yeah, it really doesn't make sense because,
It would have to be for maintenance or something like that.
but
It wouldn't
yeah,
be for
but
capital.
that isn't what that's saying, and we can't give it to them.
Wasn't the right, sort of an intention to use that money, right, what they intend to use it to, and if it's something that we did, we could consider, maybe just, there's $120K a year that you could give us, we don't really need
Yeah,
it.
but there's nothing in that letter except that.
But if you look at your Derek, budget,
Mhm.
that's where that money goes every year. We pay for it essentially.
Mhm.
I thought when we first agreed to this money back a couple of years ago, I thought it was, they did the work, they provided us with, showed us bills, we transferred the money over.
But what happened was, because of money they got from the province,
Yeah.
we didn't have to only give them like
I know,
10,000 of it.
They were overfunded. Matter of fact, we only had to hand over this 10,000 in the last month because we had originally thought we would owe nothing. They ended up being overfunded.
Yeah, I knew they had more than enough at the time. I thought we were just gonna give them the money
No,
when they
it was for
needed.
it was for capital only, and that's what it was for. So they needed the $10,180. We paid, but we just can't give them capital money with no capital.
And essentially, they're getting more money from us every year because they've already put a new line in the Derek budget for $10,000. We split that 50-50 with the town, so they're getting $5,000 more from us every year. So essentially, they're not getting 30. As long as that park's there, they're getting $5,000
I
a
mean,
year.
to me, they would have to send another letter and be more explicit in why they would want capital money for non-capital. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
You can't.
Under the NGA, you're not allowed. So, I guess what it is, we have to move that we write a letter to them to tell them that we can't give them capital money for non-capital projects.
So if they were to come up with another project there to include in the
Well, that's it. If they
They
do
can't-
have a capital bill there that we don't know about, this doesn't show it, but if
No.
they have one, then
But
provide it.
but they're gonna have to
Yeah,
send us.
they're gonna have to send that invoice
Yeah.
to us, and then
But I can't see it.
I
I'm
don't
not
know
saying
either.
it
I think
isn't there.
it's all done.
Yeah, it's all done, they added extra to it.
I think at this point, staff directions for me to respond to them is
Yeah.
fine. We don't need to make a negative motion or anything. I can just reach out to them.
That's great. The next is under the Fire and Emergency Services Provider Registration Policy. It's the second reading. I'm gonna go down to the.
You make a motion that this is the second
Yeah.
reading. I'll make a motion that this is the second reading for the Fire and Emergency Service Providers Registration Policy.
Is there a number there?
Policy number,
That's what I'm trying to do.
4,000.
Oh,
Well, policy number up there.
4009.
Yes, policy LEG -4000 -09.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to find. Sorry, I told you to go down. So I was thinking. Is there a seconder to that? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is municipal affairs, a 12-month notice to the municipalities. What would you like to say, Tyler?
I mean, you guys read it. It's fairly
Yeah.
straightforward. I mean, it doesn't give us a lot of details for our specific municipality, but obviously they're saying that costs are going to be increasing. It's going to impact us. Therefore, they need to give us 12 months notice. So, unless Corley has anything to add, I don't really have a lot more details or specifics on what impact it's going to have on us.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels a little too soon. I don't know.
Well, I'm assuming the H division, would that be boots up? Is that the opposite we're talking about? The boots on the street?
H division, isn't that Halifax? Or the H division? I never remember what we are. But I'm nervous of what it's going to be. Very.
Well, the H division, that's the DNA portion of it, that we have to pay more money for forensic work. I was thinking, okay, yeah.
Not the H division was.
That's gonna,
Not
no,
Halifax
the H would be
That's
in
what I thought
Halifax.
it is.
and
I
that's
think
what
it
we
is
do.
Halifax.
We send all that blood work and everything for crimes, it goes all out. That's
We
what
do
that's
pay
for.
some of these DNA.
Yeah.
So there's nothing we can do, but I wanted to make sure it was on the agenda. The next is the library grant request. And what they are requesting is an increase, but it can't.
So we currently budget 5,500, and they're looking for 10,000.
So doesn't this go through the main library, like the library committee, like the George is on, or is this directly only for the Westport library?
It's only for Westwood. Corley, but it's a line item that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've always done this as a grant for them.
Mhm.
It was 3,500 up until 1920, and
Mhm.
then after that, they requested we change to 5,500. So from 2020 to 2021, we've been paying 5,500 a year, and then we haven't heard anything. It's just an annual thing. We do it as part of our budget. They don't have to ask every year, but now we're looking for an increase.
To 10,000. So what do people think?
It's a big increase.
Well, seems like it, doesn't it? Okay, you're talking double.
Almost, isn't
I think what we could propose is something aligned with increasing like the regular inflation costs.
I mean, I can understand going from 55 to 7,000. That makes sense to me, but I don't think you can just jump it to 10.
Do you mean 7,000 and then add the cost of living here, or do you just?
No, I meant just go to 7,000. Like that would be a 1,500. That would be more than cost of living.
Where is the library?
In Westport, it's on what they call it, Back Street. The library. I know where it is. Is that the street is called Back Street?
Yeah, I know where it is, but I can't really explain what is the name.
Because you come off the ferry, you turn left, you go up by Wally's, up the hill, turn right, and it's on the.
It's his own building.
Yeah. Sorry, I mean I know, but
Yeah.
that's the only way I can think of how to get there.
Considering their expenses went up less than 3,000, I'm not sure why they're looking for more than 5,000. I would be willing to meet them sort of
In the middle.
Like
halfway.
Like the
Yeah.
7,000.
I like it, so.
Yeah, it sounds like a reasonable fee.
And we have enough money to increase that to another 1,500.
The budget isn't quite there yet, but I'm sure we can work that out.
So if someone would like to make a motion, if that's how you feel, for 7,000 for the Westport Library.
Motion make a motion for that, then, a motion that we approve the funding for the Westport Library to $7,000.
Is there a seconder?
I will second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Under correspondence, the winter maintenance standard response, and were we gonna put that, or did we put it on our Facebook page? The winter standards, I thought we were gonna put that on our Facebook page. Yeah. I just think it would be a good idea, and then we'll bring it back up again, but it helps.
Well, that helps, but it didn't, I felt the minister didn't really read the letter. He didn't answer the question that we asked. We wanted to
Oh, I know, but they
Review.
go around it.
We want to review it. We don't want to.
And
an issue with it.
And we can send another letter.
I would make a motion to please send another letter to the minister asking him to review the policy because the public is not upset. It's an emergency
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, that's why I wanted the standards put on us so that people can look as well. Is there a second or
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. So we'll get it on our thing. Not I meant for the winter maintenance.
Yeah.
The response, I laughed when I got it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I didn't laugh, but I went,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, the DIgby Museum, April 25, was that that's the newsletter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send you the newsletter. The next is the DIgby Dolphins Aquatic Club Tim Hortons Smile Campaign. Is anyone able or willing to help out?
I'm going to try. It's a busy week. We're gone and I'm back Saturday. And I already reached out and said as I get closer, I would try to put a couple hours in.
Yeah, I'm going to
Try to maybe
Monday from 4 to 6 or 7.
Tuesday morning, early in the morning.
You'll do better than me.
I think I reached out and said I could do Monday afternoon and evening and sometime on Tuesday, but I haven't heard back.
Okay. Are you able?
No.
Okay. And are you able?
Sorry, that is the.
That we help make smile cookies. In other words, you take frosting, they give you the frosting, and you make 2 eyes and a smile. 2 eyes and a smile.
Your engineering background
It is from the 23rd.
3rd of May. Calendar.
Election day till Saturday.
Yeah, 28th to the
Ends May 4th.
May 4th.
So I've said I can definitely help them
May 4th.
on the election day. Because I'm not going to watch the news until I get home later that night. I shouldn't say news. I'll be watching the polls. Riveting, waiting. So if, from that letter, if you just let them know, like you might want to do it coming home one afternoon for a couple hours. They don't ask.
After work, which is, it's leaving, it's still, until what time
It's from 28 to the 4th.
Yeah.
And you can usually help anytime from 7 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. And I find after 2 or 3 hours your arm hurts so bad that you don't want to.
You make that many cookies, your arm gets tired?
You're not making the cookies. It's that constant, and then you gotta have. You can't put too much on. You can't put not enough on. And sometimes my eyes look cross-eyed.
There's an art to it.
There must be. Like, what if you don't get them just right? You have to scrape it off and do it.
No. They just put them out. So, and usually during a smile campaign, if we're not here, at least the staff, either get some cookies to help support. We usually try to get cookies in for different things during that week. is the adapting the additional officer program. And is there any comments anyone wants to make or concerns?
Is this like the last one we did, where we still ended up 4 5 short?
No, actually, we're at par.
No.
We have
Yes,
one
yes.
on maternity leave.
Is with, getting her replacement
Yeah.
there sooner rather than later.
They're actually trying to get another officer for drugs.
That'll be good. Need it.
The next then is the proposed reserve addition for Doty Road.
So I'll just comment on both of these together, the Doty
Okay.
Road and the River Road. So obviously this is a unique situation. I hadn't seen this before either at Chat. I guess I have questions. There's not really much we can say here other than I have questions because obviously these properties are not on the current reserve. They become not taxable. And my only question is, given the locations of any services are expected, garbage collection, one of them is on River Road where the sewer runs by. I just have questions basically that I need to get answered. But
Okay.
just it's a unique situation. One is on Doty Road.
Yeah.
So it's,
No services, no worry.
yeah, but
No
picking up
services,
garbage. I
follow
don't know.
garbage.
So it's interesting.
So if they take over these, like, that, right now, that's somebody's property. So they just come in and.
Maybe purchasing it. I assume.
The one in Bear River is a really
It's
strange
I think it's
location.
between the post office and the gas station, right? It's right in between,
Yeah.
which it's a very small piece of land.
Mhm.
They obviously have plans for it.
Okay, go ahead.
So my question is, do we meet with their First Nations on a planning part of that? Because it says right in here
It
that
says here
we have to work together on planning bylaw uses, that their bylaws are different than our bylaws,
So essentially, because, and as you know, like our bylaws don't apply to them. Our land use bylaws don't apply to reserve land. So, I don't know. It says here that we should expect to hear from them because obviously if they want any services or want some kind of arrangement when it comes to land use, we need to do that together. So we will certainly be willing to do that. But I haven't heard as of yet.
The letter came.
Yep.
So again, it's more for information right now because we just don't know.
Yeah.
But I want to keep everyone abreast of what's happening because if I don't, someone says to you, "What's this?
Yeah.
What's the word behind it?" Okay. The next is the Council District Activity Report. Let's start with Joan.
Relatively busy. I attend the regular municipal council and committee meetings as scheduled. I continue to do the coffee times at the Smith Skull Fire Hall, and that's every Thursday morning. April 3rd, I went to the evening presentation by Data on their 5-year plan and the rollout of their 10 Wonders of DIgby. This is their new promotional strategy that they're planning to build on. The wonders are whale watching, the Maud Lewis, Scallop Capital of the World, Nature Conservancy of Canada on Briar Island, Bear River, the village on stilts, Balancing Rock, the lighthouses, the Electric City, historic vineyards, and Digby Gut. And as they roll it out, they will be looking for people in those areas to help champion and promote those wonders moving forward. April 9th, there was an education session that afternoon during the regular social time at Bear River Health Center, and Wendy also presented on the grants and supports that are available to the seniors of the area. in the month of April. Generally, I have been serving at the Bear River Community Kitchen. I attended the Data AGM on April 16th, and the Bear River Fire Department breakfast, as well as the Municipality Fire Department breakfast. I attended and served, and they have started up again for the season. A few calls on the roads and the culverts and about garbage pickup, and I have followed up with visits and pictures and continued to try and be as responsive as possible to those concerns as they're raised.
Thank you.
I attended the Ward Frat annual general meeting. The board presented their new ideas for this year's rally, and I'm anticipating a very strong turnout. We can't wait to get things going. I attended the DIgby Tourism Association presentation also. Many months of hard work have gone into researching the 10 wonders of DIgby. We're excited to begin advertising these wonders to attract tourists to the area, and you can check them out at digbyarea.ca. Sat down with council members and talked with federal nominee Liberal Ronnie LeBlanc. We get to listen to how we work with municipalities in the region, and we had a chance to tell him the challenges that we have. I went to the DIgby rate for the provincial announcement of $1.5 million to help go towards fixing our aging infrastructure and making the facility accessible for all. I was very surprised at how many people showed up for the announcement, and very pleased that so many in the community are invested in the future of recreation. A lot of the month I've taken a lot of calls on road repairs, dangerous and unsightly, and people looking for homes. I do remind people to make sure you do call the TIR line at 902-245-4090 for the road repairs. I will be bringing them up at our next TIR meeting. I've also been contacting Richie Nickerson at WasteCheck to investigate various dumps on rural roads. As the snow has disappeared, many dump sites have appeared with bags full of garbage. I would like to remind people we do have a transfer station available to take garbage to. As long as I've been knowing the facility, not many questions are asked. There are plenty of bins available to dump your garbage into. If you have anything less than 441 pounds, you can take absolutely free. And it's open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon, which you'll probably see me there most of the time, because that's when I do it. If there is any concerns with the transfer station, please contact myself or Municipality.
Okay, George.
Here to start off with my regular committee meetings. I did try to get on Zoom. Didn't work. It's the first time it ever worked for me to the Western County Regional Library. We had a Zoom call. I wasn't able to get on. And I called, and she sent out another invite that morning. Anyway, I come in and Taylor downloaded the app for me. See what works best. We met Chris Don come on. I think it was last month. I couldn't find my book. I didn't meet with him. And last week or so ago, with Ronnie, listened to his concerns and his not promises, but what he would like to see done. Also did get to meet Jean Chrétien last week. He was in the area. And he's a good storyteller. He's 91, still active.
91?
Yeah. 91. Walks with it. He doesn't use a cane or anything. It's just kind of not maybe as spry as he used to be, but he gets around pretty good. He can tell a story. Also attended the tourism announcement at the arena for $1.5 million, which I'm sure a long ways. Helped a senior, brought senior to DIgby to get to solar plans for their fuel rebate and house repair grants. And also wanted to get his income tax filled out. We're going to do down at the Women's Center for free, so can't beat that. And I guess that's all.
Okay. And Peter?
So focus has been mostly into community initiatives, right? And I've been trying to base my approach mostly on enabling the groups in the community that are trying to do something. So this month, I had a meeting with Sandy Cove Conservancy. They have some interesting projects there coming along. They are really doing a good job at the Fundy Beach and Sandy Cove to clean up the beach. They're installing a mobile bathroom there that, to facilitate the area as a place for campers. Right? So there's some camper traffic going in there. It's really a hotspot for them. So pretty interesting this. Let's see what they will come with next. I had some further exchange with Westport Auxiliary to see how they're going with the project. Their multiple sport there. They were very thankful for the grant that we gave them. And they also had some chats with people in Tiverton. There was an Easter breakfast this weekend where we exchanged about their own projects. And they also have some recreation facility projects that they're coming up with. So this is probably something for the next year. But I was just giving them some pointers on how to go about proposing this. And then other than that, we had our monthly call for healthcare in the islands, really productive call. We have this month sat on a more structured framework to have this conversation and based on more objective feedback from the community. And so we also got I also got some input on their part on what are the services available there. They're not always clear to residents that they are actually existing services. So there's a post that will come soon on my page there just to share with people in case they don't know these are the services offered here. So other than that, there was a quick discussion with senior health representative. They were attempting to complete an application for a roof renovation grant. Some resident there that has been on the process for a long time, so they were asking for help to meet the person, and they meet the person, but it's so it looks like it's going to be a long back and forth there. But we'll see where this leads us. Also had an exchange with Kate Henry from the Coast Guard. And so there's a new station being built in Freeport, so there will be a new vessel there. The vessel is called the CCGS Made Shut Up. And so they're looking for a sponsor for the boat, and they know Chris in the boat. And the sponsor is kind of like the godfather of the boat, or godmother of the boat. So it's usually someone important in the community there, so we'll have to look who would be the right fit for that. On that, well, I attended to one of these DMA monthly training sessions that they offer on Zoom. I was interested in the planning one. So they're well, we'll see. I'll give it a try again for the next time that something comes along. Yeah, well, on the kind of a minor point there, we had a quick exchange on Terry on the side there on that physically the solar park. We're just throwing some numbers around how that project will look like. I guess we'll have something more refined once we do that. The consulting project that we're applying for. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you. And for me, I want to start off with Dr. Adam Clark, who is a cardiologist in Kentville. He's actually the coach of the U16 AAA Valley Wildcat hockey team. And when they were in DIgby, they raised money at a regular session game to give to DIgby Food Bank. And whatever we made was matched by Dr. Clark. And it came to a total of $2,424. Brandon Nickerson was the one who did the presentation to and Dr. Clark said people like Mr. Tibbetts, who's very community minded, that they'd like to do something for it. So I want to start off with that. They had asked me if I would have liked my picture with it, and I felt it more important for Mr. Tibbetts and Brent to be in that picture than meeting me because I did not do anything.
Let's see picture, thanks.
Yeah. But I want to bring that up because I thought it was really important to do so. And here you have someone who's not even living in the community, who's willing to help. And I mean, he comes down every month. Better stop while selling the Dr. Clark fan club. Now, I did want to say on March 29th, I went to the Electric City's fundraiser, and it was nice. It was soup and things, and I got to talk, and I got talking with Chris and different ones who were there, Chris Johnson. I also went and did the Lily Run. I was the first aider there. I didn't run. And I then went to the Ukrainian Easter event, and that was very well attended. What we did, or what I did on my own, and I did tell after, because they can't get in trouble when they do something after, that's for forgiveness. We had spent, I believe it was $87, like Justin should have done here, for juice pop water. But there was 2 cases of water and 8 packs of juice, and I gave it to the Ladies Auxiliary for their 100-year event on behalf of council.
Yeah.
And I mean, I suppose there was whatever was left over, the family took, but I thought these were full cases, and it's another event and it's another help.
Yeah.
So they were very appreciative of the water and juice. So then I have been attending the municipal leaders. There's been campaign information, climate change, energy. That is usually every 2 weeks, but lately it's been more. And there's Zoom meetings from municipal leaders all across Canada. So I have been doing Zoom meetings with that. I also I also have had many concerns over the roads, which will be on our I should say. I also wanted to mention there was a wellness webinar in April, and that was interesting. I have been meeting with people. There's concern over some lack of AEDs in the community. People that are selling, they're 20 years old, they need to be replaced. So I last week it came out under recreation. There is a grant that they pay a third. So I sent that on to some organizations. And there was another one that they were doing. They were fully funded costs, but I think that's over. I'm trying to find that. So besides that, it's been busy. It really has. So I'm saying that we will go on to the next piece, which is, before we do that, we've got a contractual in camera. I will ask our audience, do you have any questions on what was discussed on the agenda today?
No, it was interesting. I'm the new president of the Board of Trade in Bear River.
Oh.
So I thought I'd attend and see who's who. Just look forward to getting to know you guys as we.
Can you tell us your name?
Dick Rampin.
Welcome.
I live right in town, the main part of Bear River, in what used to be 80 Marshall's house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've been here for 20 years, but only the last 3 years since I retired from teaching at university. I'm here full time. So now I'm full time.
Well, that's good.
And then got suckered into taking on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's going to be an exciting year, I think. I'm really hopeful for a lot of tourism. I guess our goal is to generate tourism without attracting too many people who want to move in. We don't want it to change. We just want them to come visit, attend the rrestaurant.
Great vineyards in there.
Yeah, and of course I get the enjoyable village of being both counties.
Yeah.
Yes.
A town.
Can be.
Anyway.
If you don't have any questions for us, though?
No,
Okay.
it's very interesting and well run. So thank you guys.
Feel free to reach out to me anytime.
I will.
Or
Now that I know who you
I am
are.
your counselor, so.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
I
okay.
live on the Annapolis side, but I also have a building in Brighton, so I kind of both.
All right, well, we'll just go around where you're here. Matthew is our deputy warden, and would you like to tell him your district, Matthew?
My district is Marshalltown, Brighton, Barton, Plimpton, and all the way back to Seville, North Range, South Range.
Yeah. So you're in the other district where I have my other building.
Okay.
I'm right next to the fire hall.
Oh, okay.
I
Right
have what
on.
used to be Hall's Carpets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. That's your building.
Yeah. So that hides inside. There's now milling machines, lathes, woodworking. I was a product designer, prototyper,
Okay.
as well as a.
I thought that was the apartment.
No, there's just one little apartment,
Oh, okay.
which is nice because that way she keeps an eye on me. But anyway, that's good.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And Joan?
Joan Ross, I'm District 1, so I'm from Marshalltown to Bear River and out back to Tobiatic Reserve. So.
Excellent.
George?
George Manzer from the Weymouth area, Weymouth, Gilbert's Cove, and Danvers, Southville, that's the area.
Peter?
I'm Peter Shear. I'm responsible for the area from Waterford to Westport. It's the DIgby economics.
Wonderful. Excellent.
And I'm Linda.
You're talking there, but your voice is coming from over there.
Yeah.
And I'm Linda. Okay. And I'm Linda Gregory. I'm the warden, but I also have down the neck only to Waterford. I have White House Road, Shore Road, Bayview, Cologne, Mount Pleasant, Conway. So that's my area. So it's nice meeting you,
Yeah, nice to
and
meet you.
I hope you have a great year.
Well, thank you. And
And just so you know, our CAO is Tyler.
yeah, I think I've seen your name somewhere. On somebody. I just took over from Carmen. So our first meeting with me as the boss is next week. I'm fresh to it. Anyway, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
It's the
Thank
day
you.
of all of these, so I've already sent my regrets.
So our next is to go in camera. Would someone like to move to go in camera for contractual issue?
Motion to win camera for contractual issue.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, for reminded. Motion